the second part of our study for today. And all right, so we are going to look the part which is very interesting. This part is going to be very, very, very interesting as well, and I want to make this at the end of my demonstration of what you're going to do. You will require to submit the activity. Okay, at the end of my teaching, I will give you activity which you need to submit before 5. So keep in mind, whatever you do, follow me, and then you have to submit, right? All right, so yeah, am I? Yeah, it's shared in Teams. Am I in the right press? Is a screen shared? I believe so. Screen shared? No? Huh? Now yes. Maybe the buffer is very slow for you. All right, so now there we go. We are going to do the following. Let me get my password. Okay. Right here. So I just want to write here something which you're going to deal with for today's class. I want to write something here which are going to be our today's class. All right, then this will be fine. So the first thing which I want to mention here, I don't want to now remind me later. That type of errors will be there. So hope this is clear. So today, I start with the scenario. Let's say you're working in a school. Let's say working in a school as an IT, let's say as an IT director, or how do you call them? IT what? IT? How do you call those who works in a school in an IT department? They call IT what? Student helper? IT technician. If I say IT technician, okay, let's say work as an IT technician. Expression. Technique. Let me write like this. All right? And here's a case. You work in a school as an IT technician, and the school need to register children who are above, let's say the children should be above 6 years. 6 years. And this school is a government. All right, this school is a government. Right? And this school is teaching, it is, the teaching, the learning medium is local or national language. National language. I take an example. For instance, or example means, let's say, if you are in Thailand, the language is going to be Thai. So you're running in a Thai. All right? You run in a Thai as a medium. Now, here is a task which they tell you. They tell you, we want you to write or to create for us a database which will help us to do this registration. We want you to help us design a database which will be very efficient for us to follow these rules. What will you do? What will you do? This is the business we have here, and then they set the business rules. Business rules, we need to register a student, and the student should be above how many years? 6. And the teaching medium is what? Is a Thai, is a language, right? Yes, it's a Thai. All right. So now these are business rules. As an IT technician, I call you database designer. You need to give them, number one, model, entity model. The entity model or entity relationship model. What are the entities do we have there? What entities do we have in the business? In our business case we have here. How many entities? Yeah, many, yes, mention them. Okay, information is an entity? Wrong. Information is not an entity. Entity, student. Student is an entity, language. Okay, language can be an entity or can be an attribute as well. It's an entity, right? You can have a different, yes. School can be entity, so we have many. So break it in that way. Now, the only entity which we are interested is a student. Yes, then we need to know in a student entity what is required. We require student ID, attribute, student name, first name, last name, nationality, and ID. We are in school. We are in school. We are in school. We are in school. We need, what do we need? ID, which we have to create, and then you have to create date of birth, sex. Yes, gender, yes, gender or sex, yes, correct, yes, and what else? And language, right? Right, nationality, right? But look, understand the business case we have. So all the things which we mentioned, some of them are optional, others are what? Mandatory or must. So which is must? Name is a must, right? Date of birth is a must. And language is a must. These are the 3 things which we say, okay, this do or die. This has to be in your database. Name, age, date of birth, and as well as ID. And language, yes. These are the important things which we need. Right. So in our case here, we want to make sure that the names and the IDs are there. Keep this somewhere. This is a case which I'm going to work on. Okay, just to break it, keep it. I'm going to minimize, and then I show you what do you do when you want to create some required attribute, requirement attribute, right? The must attribute, right? There is an attribute which are must, and you need to make sure that they are following the rules. All right, for example, I start from number 1. Okay, let me minimize this one. And then I say, let me maximize this one. Maximize this one. And I say MySQL sudo so we have them here. So we have database here, and let me look the tables which I have there, show tables. So these are the different tables which I have. I have an employee, not ever, or sample, ST student, 1 student, 2 student, 3. So what I want to achieve now, I want to create a table, and in that table, I have to specify what should be written in that particular column. Okay, what should be written in that particular column? For example, I'm going to create a table I call my name, and I put the table is going to be called list of names, or I call it my name. Inside my name, I have to put my first name and the last name, but last name is not changed. Last name should remain as a last name. So we do the following. Right. I repeat once again. I repeat once again. I can add first name as much as I can. But last name, for example, your siblings, right? Take an example. Your siblings, you share what? Same names, same last name. But you have your first name different, right? So that's what I'm going to do. So we do the following. So now I'm going to create a table. The table name is going to be called the siblings, right? Create table, I call siblings, and I say first name, I say first F name, varchar. Let me put a big one because my name is very big. I may have like, 50 or 100. 100, yeah. Let me waste the space. 100, and I put last name, varchar, 150. Okay, 51. I don't know why it says 51. Only 50? All right. Jonathan said. No problem. That's what I mentioned. If I put 100, I'm wasting resources. The space which is going to be wasted. That's the main problem, because in a memory it's destroyed for the first name. But no problem. Then you waste it and see. But look, listen. When you give, for example, address, should you put 250, right? At least 250, because address can be big to avoid, the shortage of the space. Okay. So when you design, you put that into the mind that you need to put there. So now I put the last name here and the first name here. And now here is a case. Here is a case of something which I want you to think. Remember, the last name should be what? Same to my siblings. What will you do? You do the following. You use one constraint which is called, let's say, you're going to use one constraint which is called check, right? It's a constraint. I'm going to call here check name, check f name, right? Check f name, and then you say check. What are we going to check? Last name. When the last name, let's say the last name should be equal to my family name, let's say Gakwaya, or you put your name there. Okay. This check last name. Okay. All right. So you have to check the last name should be equal to Gakwaya. Where's which one is there? Last name constant. Which one? I put one more bracket. Oh yeah. Okay. Both of them? No. No, I cannot remove both of them. I cannot remove both of them. I put one here. I put one more here. Okay. So I need to cross them there. Because one is for the check, another one is for the entire table. Two. So now, what did I say? I mentioned that the last name should be what? Gakwaya. So siblings I can keep adding, but the last name should always be what? Gakwaya. Now let me add here. Now let's try to add. Is he say show? Describe what? Siblings. So this is what we have, right? We have the following is not mentioned there, right? Next part here, important part here. You want to check what constraint do you have in your table, all right? This is important. You will use this one, it will save you a lot. Here, you want to know the constraints which are in your tables, So what will you do? You say select. Okay. What are you going to select? You are going to select constraint underscore name, and then you say constraint underscore type, and then you say from information. You say from information underscore schema dot table underscore constraints where table underscore name is equal to, what is my table name? Siblings. Okay, so it shows you what constraint you have there. So this will help you. You need to check constraint name and constraint type is a check, and this schema is a built-in table, already made schema. It's from information underscore schema dot table constraints. Simple. Constraint underscore name means this table, you can describe. Do one thing. Describe table, describe information schema underscore table constraint. It shows you all the constraints type which you can have. So these are called the ready-made tables or the built-in tables. So now the one which I create the name is first. Check. Oh, I mentioned first name. I gave the wrong name. It's supposed to be last name. No problem. Name does not matter. The name which I gave for my constraint is okay, but it's supposed to be last name, right? Because it's on the last name, right? So now I put the following here. I'm going to insert. Let's say here is important. Insert into siblings varies. What varies that one? First name is, let's say first name is, all right. All right. And the last name, the last name is acquire. Right? Correct. And again, my second sibling. Let's say my second sibling is going to be called Jonathan. And let's say he's my sibling, but for example, he said he's a Jonathan Tambani. Right? If he does like this way, it cannot. Because our family name is what? Yokwai. So it means, say, check your constraint. So it tells you what you have to insert. Right? Again, even if I say the constraint should be, let's say here is a Jonathan.
So what if we don't add any last name? Will it automatically give it a name?
No. That's the default. You remember? We have done the default name. It's a different. Default, it's common for everyone. But here, we are doing data entry. We want to make sure that what you insert in the database is correct. Means this is in the hand of the users. Right? So any name you give, if the name is not in acquire, we throw what? Error. Right? And again here. Now let me make Jonathan as what? Acquire. Done, right? Then I say select star from siblings. All right? Do we have what? We have a John acquire, Jonathan acquire. You can keep them. Now you understand? Do you understand?
Yes.
First, I want you to understand the concept of what you're doing, and then confirm with me. Kunakon, you understand the concept? What are we doing? We are, yes, please.
Show the creation for tables.
Which question?
How to create tables.
How to create a table? Okay.
It's okay.
You can check on the teams. You can log in the teams. It will be near to you. So you can easily see them. Here I made a mistake. I'm supposed to put two names there, right? It's supposed to be last name. Last name. I change here. And let me change the table. I call a table called sibling. Right? All right, a table called sibling. Okay. So this is, I call the table, I call sibling, and then I put the names there. Now, what is the concept? Means I want this column to have this value. Okay? I want this column to have what? This value. Not default, but when I enter, I should not make a mistake. You understand? When you enter, you should not make what? Mistake. So it has to tell you, hey, you should put the following here. You are violating the rules. This is integrity. Right? And constraint as well for particular column. Okay? Good. Very good. So these are the things which you can do. You can keep add many names. You can keep add many names. Then you can see them. For example, yeah, that's the first part which you can do. Right? This is one way. Now, coming to our goodness, you made it? Very good. You made it? You made it? You made it? Zeros. You have to make zeros family. Which one is this?
Yeah.
Which family is this? Tanawa family. Maybe or and which family is this? Not yet? Oh, start there. I want to see your family. Which family is this? Last family. Yeah. What is it? Which one is? Oh, great. Now there are two options. There are two options. The second option which I have here, let me show tables. So I have a table called, let me see the one with the less, let's say, let me create another table, no problem. Create a table, and the table is going to be siblings. So I made them as siblings, right? So I make here, let's say, first name, varchar mini, last name, varchar 50, right? Hmm? Sorry. All right, thank you. So, all right, here's a table. Now I want to add. Here means what? Add the constraint on existing table. So here, add. What am I going to add? Add constraints. Table, right? The first one which you finished, the first task was at table creation. Okay? When I ask you a question, please add the constraint at table creation. Right? Or when I say, please add the constraint at table at existing table, you need to know. Sure? Confirm with me? You understand what I'm saying? Again, when I say, Mr. Tanawa, create a constraint on existing table, you need to know what you have to do. Clear? So please, when I ask during exam, don't be confused. Don't ask me, sir, what to do. Okay? Don't ask me, sir, I don't know what to do this. I know it. All right, so here, what I do here, we say at a table siblings, okay, add constraint. This constraint is gonna be constraint, and the constraint should be unique name. It's going to be check, let's say siblings, check sibling name, sibling names, or I call it checks. I call checks. Okay, I'm going to call checks. I say check. What I'm going to check, last name should be equal to another one. I say the following. All right. Now, what do we do? We add the constraint on existing table. Add existing table. My table which I created was a siblings. I didn't put constraint, right? CKS is a constraint name. Constraint or by the constraint name. If you don't put, it's okay, but you need to put it because it helps you. Which one? If you put the same name from the previous one, it will throw an error. It will tell the constraint exists. Let's try to do it. Let's try to do it. Now let's try to make on first name. Let's say first name, right?
I'm saying so like we already put a constant on the last name.
When? Before?
That's not right.
Yes.
So we do it again, will it be?
If you put again, This one I'm showing. Please, I mentioned we want to put constant on existing table. All right. For example, for existing table, you can see that I get another table. For example, you get a table, and you want to add a constant, right? After the table, so you can do this. So this is what we do, and then you can add the names, right? You can add your names there. So pardon me? Johan, you have a question? No problem. Okay, this is what we have. So it does not show any table. Okay, I want to try to see if I can list all of them, but we are limited to this table here. This is the name which you put here, and the type is a check. So you can add it. Now, which one? Here. This already we did.
Yeah.
Already done with it. The one which here, table name. Already this one we did. Table name is equal to what? Siblings. Already this we did. I wanted to get the all constant there. That's what I was doing. That's why you find that I moved from there. It's not magentally what I was doing. It's not must. So these are the things which you can do here. And I think my task is not going to be done. I think we'll do after the midterm. The case which I gave you. I think the case which I gave you will.
So this one is going to come.
Already?
You're going to ask in the lab.
Yeah, no access. Okay, in a few minutes which remains here, we have a few minutes there for you to go. You do the task as follow. You do the task as follow. The task which I gave you, right? The task which I gave you. I'll repeat once again here. You are going to create a table. Listen, you're going to create a table, and the table name is going to be called school. School. All right. Inside the school, you put school name, and also you put school school name, and also you put school country, and the country should be Thailand only. School name, and the country should be Thailand, means the schools which are in Thailand only.
School name and
School name, you can put AIU, you can put AIMS, give different names. Yes, school is the tab, yes. You put school, pardon me,
The database would be
wherever you are, no problem. Wherever you are.
is the table. The main thing is the table.
The main thing is the table and the concept which I want you to emphasize. School, and in this table we have the school name, and the country should only be Thailand. Name should be what? The country name should only be Thailand.
Country name should be only Thailand, that's all. And it should be H.
Which one? No H. Just
Only
now.
the country name should be.
Yes.
That's all.
That's all. So you have a few minutes for you to complete the task. Yes, so let me take your attendance now. Tanawa, Zudawe, Newborn, Jaru, Same, Priyesh, Mini, Arkar Mini, Gar, Mon, Matthew, Gladness, Rahenve, Shankar, Kunakon, Sozin, Ayonai, Daniel, Philip, Colin, Jonathan, Jonah, and Cheniishi. Sick. You have a 6 minute. Pardon me? In the middle. Pardon me? Can you make video, please? Please you insert just to confirm, right? You insert early. Insert Bank of University, public government school. Will you make a screenshot? right hand send the code. And then starting from the create and installation. Sure. Select start from show, right? Right? You take a screenshot. You take a screenshot. Yes, please. Which you are missing. You start from where you start from yes, do that. Is it like this? You start small. Where's the creation? It's a create. And then you create the last script. Yeah, screenshot from creation in the last. You start from one you start from here to the last the next submit. Okay. From the creation till installation, please you submit that one. That's what I want. One minute, 5 seconds. 1 minute.
要么说这样吧，他看我状元而且论语，先溜了，他在那里。
Me also I don't get the.
Yeah, it is there, it is
Oops, Jojo.
No,
Just what, right?
what do you mean here?
Okay, sir.
Only the school, right?
No, from the start when you put break table. When you start table and you start doing the table. Yeah.
Sir, I mean, you want only the school or everything?
Pardon me?
You want only the school table or everything? I mean, from the beginning.
From the beginning of creation of school table till it started.